Hi guys, it's Teacher Tana and welcome to my online classroom. Now, if you've joined me today for information about VIP Kid, I want to let you know right away that this video is actually going to be a little bit different. It's going to be for my teachers that have had to move from the live teaching world into the online teaching world. So I'm going to be focusing on them particularly today with a series of videos called Live to Online. However, if you are here for VIP Kid and want some resources for that, you are not in the wrong spot. Go ahead and use my referral code here and email me at hi.teacher.tana@gmail.com, and I would love to send you some one-on-one resources. And don't forget to check out some of my other videos to get you started on your VIP Kid journey. All right, so today's goal really is for me to be able to share with you some resources to help you move your class from live to online. Now, I've said this in a couple old videos, but just in case this is the first one that you've happened to find, I want to give you a little bit of background about myself. I have been teaching in a live classroom for the last 11 years, and for the last 3, I have been working for VIP Kid, so that's the classroom. And in the last year, in the last 2 years as well, I've taught online as an adjunct professor for a university. And then finally this past year, I have actually been practicing flipping my high school AP psychology class. So the students there actually watch videos for homework that I've created. They use guided notes, and then we do the actual physical work together in class. So I've done a lot of practicing using Google Classroom, using Google Suite in general, but also using some of these programs that are easily integrated into Google Classroom in order to really get my kids ready. And I think that this is going to be a perfect move for those of you who suddenly have to think about, how do I move my live class that has been working, that lesson plans are ready to go, into this online environment in a successful way. So I hope you guys find this video helpful. All right, so the resource that I want to talk to you guys about today is called Flipgrid. Now, Flipgrid is actually a resource that I use very commonly with my ESL learners. So if you're not familiar with that terminology, they are English as a second language learners. So I am CLD certified, culturally and linguistically diverse educator from K-12. And I've started using this in my class specifically because I wanted the students to practice one of the 4 domains that's tested for their language proficiency. So when we're talking about the WIDA exam, this is actually a nationwide exam that's given to students to test their proficiency in language. There are 4 different domains: reading, writing, speaking, and listening. So these students have to show proficiency in all 4. And the majority of my students showed a lot of proficiency speaking in a social setting, but when it came to speaking in an academic setting, they really struggled to use academic or formal language. So for me, I thought, well, I could just get them in front of the class talking to everybody. But when you're talking about second language learners and you're talking about teenagers, their affect would just go up. They really couldn't do it. They would panic. So we started doing these like flip videos in class. So let me just go over what a flip video is, and then I'm going to walk you through the process of creating one and sharing it with your students today, because the important part is we need to get these things rolling as quickly as possible and make our classes viable during this crazy time that we're in. Okay, so what is Flipgrid? Flipgrid is a social learning platform that allows educators to ask a question, so then the students record a response in a video format. Now, I'm sure 2 or 3 weeks from today, when you've been in the online environment for a while, you're going to get tired of reading all these writings from your students, right? So this is just a different way to get the kids to respond. They're also going to be learning some of the rules of social discussion, right? Which are really important and are more difficult to create within an online platform. And again, this is because students can reply to each other and reply to you in a professional manner like they would in a classroom with you. Okay, so let me run through how to use this. Okay guys, so my number 1 goal today in this video, which I'm gonna keep as short as I can, is to get you to actually start using this tool today. So that means that I'm going to go quickly through some things, and I'm not gonna go into depth on all the information that I could go into for Flipgrid, because it's really a customizable learning platform, and I can really get into the weeds in that, and really that's not my goal today. My goal is just to get you in it, using it, and you can always play with it and get a little fancier with it as you go. There are plenty of YouTube videos about that, and I'm sure they're going to do a much better job than I will and probably know more about the platform than I do. I just want to make sure that after you watch this video, you're comfortable enough to go ahead and upload a video for your students today. First thing you would do is you want to go to flipgrid.com. You want to go to the educator sign up. So once you click that, of course, it's going to have you go through the sign up dialog. So go ahead and go through that, and then I will see you in a second. Okay, so once you are signed in, you can see here that I actually already have a few grids up. And if you notice the names of the grids, they're named after my actual class periods and the actual class subject. So I have 5 grids, 1 for each period. Now, when you create a grid, I do suggest that you create one for each period that you teach, and that you name it something that's really obvious. So, and this is going to serve 2 purposes. 1, it's really easy for me to quickly look at the screen and find the class that I'm looking for. And 2, when a student opens up the grid, they know that they are in the right spot. So that's a little mini suggestion from me. So again, what is a grid? A grid is kind of like the website that's going to host all of your students' videos. So the grid is different for every period, and that's where the student is going to go to in order to submit all their work. Okay, so let's go ahead and add one. And again, this platform is very user-friendly. As you can see, there's a big red add new grid. So I'm going to name this sample grid for video. And I'm going to pretend this is my period 1 sample class. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and do school email. I like to use school email because I want students to get used to using what we call more professional communication, and for them, their professional communication comes from their school email. So I'm going to click that, and then down here you can use their generic flip code, which is probably going to be your last name followed by a random number, but I'm going to use sample 001. So that's what I'm going to use. It'll tell you if it's available or not. I'm going to press next. So if you did choose the add school email option, you're going to have to put what the domain will be for that. So for mine, it's actually my school name. It could be Gmail, whatever it is, toss them in there. You can read the directions there if you have more questions on that. And next, so now my grid is ready. So this is great. You can already share this in Google Classroom if you want to. Again, if you do that, that's just a green button here. It's just going to lead the kids to the page that you're at. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a few minutes. It'll be a little easier to understand. You can also share on Remind, share with Google Teams, or you can embed it if you need to. But I'm going to go ahead, before I share it to my students, I want to do a little more work. So that's what we're going to do together here. I'm going to go to my grid. Okay, guys, so now we're in our grid. Woohoo, we made it. Now we want to go ahead and start actually creating the topics. So the topics are what the students are going to respond to. And the really nice thing is that Flipgrid has a generic topic that's loaded anytime you create a new grid, and that topic is called Say Hello on Flipgrid, and I'm going to suggest that you go ahead and use that one. I don't suggest that you just use it as is. I'm going to give a few recommendations for it, and in order to edit that and make those changes, you can either click the pencil here, or you can scroll down from actions here and put edit topic. So I'm going to do that really quickly. So edit topic. So this is great. It already has title Say Hello on Flipgrid. I'm going to keep that the same. I can decide on recording time. Usually 1:30 I think is good for a quick hello. And then I can customize here what I want them to answer to. So here it says they're going to say hello and share a fun fact about yourself, or share a fun activity you've been doing during the break. There's mine. You can customize all kinds of things, but I'm going to scroll down to the things I think that are most important for you to customize, especially for your first time using Flipgrid. So the number one suggestion that I will give you for Flipgrid is to turn on video moderation. What this means is once a student replies, I actually have to approve it before the rest of the class can see it. Now, we all have students that are going to test the boundaries and say silly things or do silly things. Well, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that they don't get away with having all their classmates see that before I get to see it and decide whether it's appropriate or not. So I'm going to always toggle that on. I don't mind student-to-student replies. Again, it's because I can see their replies, but if you think that that might be a concern for you at the beginning when you're getting used to it, you can toggle that off. I like my topics to be active, and you can always, active meaning that students can see them and reply to them. You can decide on a launch and freeze date here. Okay, so the second thing that I'm going to suggest that you definitely customize in this area is changing this section to videos only. So a student, let me explain what happens. When they open up a topic and they're asked to reply, they record a short video and then they're asked to add a selfie. The selfie becomes like the icon or the cover of their response. I'm going to tell you guys to go straight to videos only and kind of get rid of that selfie part. I think it just helps with the students maybe feeling self-conscious about being on camera. It kind of takes away that feeling. It makes it less stressful for them. Also, I'm going to allow students to edit it. I don't necessarily want students to put a title or a view count. Just kind of getting rid of extras here that I don't think students will need. And then this is actually a really nice feature is feedback. You can actually embed a rubric or use one of their rubrics and give them a grade right away, which is really neat. I haven't played around too much with that, but I have been wanting to. So then you click the update topic, and then here we are, we've made it. And here's my flip code. So if a student uses this code, they will get right into this topic. This is where I would say now you should share to Google Classroom. And the easiest way to do that is to click this share button, Google Classroom. Okay, so here's my Google Classroom, and I created a sample class earlier. I am gonna make this one an assignment. Go. And then I'm gonna say something like, click here. Oh, actually I'm gonna name it Flipgrid response. Welcome response. Okay, you can name it whatever you want. So open the link below. Respond to the Flipgrid question. Can't wait to see you all. Okay, and then that is now assigned. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. Okay, so now it's been posted to your class. Woohoo! I want to click view. And now I can see exactly what that looks like. Okay, so here it is in my stream. Here it is in classwork. I like looking at it in classwork. So here it is, assignment, and then the students can click right on the grid. When they click this, they go straight to the topic. Now, if they haven't signed in, they're going to be asked to sign in because we set it up as sign in with school email. So log in with Google. I'm going to go ahead and log in really quickly. So this is me being a student. This is what I can see. And again, this is why I suggested that you name this the class period and the name of the class so students know they're in the right spot. And then you can see your very first or the student's very first assignment. And then all they have to do is click this record a response. So they would click this. And it's going to ask them questions like, can we use your microphone? Can you use your camera? And the students will have to press yes to allow that. And then we're in. Hello. So from here, I do want to show you a couple things that I think are really helpful for the students and kind of reduce their anxiety of being on camera. So the first thing is the filters. And trust me, kids are going to figure these out really fast, but you might want to create a quick video of them or share a video of you using a filter. When I first started with the students, they were really nervous about being on camera, and so I used the pixel, which I thought was really convenient because I could still kind of tell who it was, but they didn't have to worry about like their hair or their makeup or any of that stuff. There's different filters just like you would use in Instagram. Another one that my students loved was the stickers, because they could pick a sticker and put it right over their face. So you can make it bigger or smaller. So I had some students that went this far, like really wanted to cover everything the whole time. And then some students who just went with like the smiley and they spoke that way. And I'm totally fine with that. You can decide what you feel is appropriate for your students. The other thing I like to show them is this, which is it's just a review of the topic. It reminds them what the topic was so that they make sure they're actually answering the question. And then once the student can record. So test 1, 2, test 1, 2. Next. So test 1, 2, test 1, 2. Okay, they can add more to their video. They can click to edit it in any way. And then once they're ready, they can click next. And I did take off the selfie option. This is what I was talking about, that there might be a selfie at the end. I took this option off. If you do keep it on, this is what it looks like. enjoy that picture. And then that's it. It is now completely loaded. Woohoo! And then I do have them for the display name, write their name and submit the video. Now, you'll notice that you don't see any responses, even though we just gave a response. And that's because I set it for permissions. Remember that I have to give permission before before students can see each other's videos. So here I am as myself. I'm gonna refresh this page. Now, here it was my response as a student, right? Notice how it's hidden here. I want to make that active, but before I do that, I'm going to watch the video, make sure it's appropriate.
So test 1, 2, test 1, 2.
Seems appropriate to me. I'm going to go to edit here and I can make it active and then close it. Close it out. Now it's active. Now other students can see it and other students can respond to it as well. And you've got your first live Flipgrid topic response. One other trick I want to show you for Flipgrid is that let's say you create a topic for your first period class and your fourth period class happens to be the exact same class. Well, instead of going through all this work again, you can actually go back to the actions up here and you can press duplicate topic. And when you do that, you can select the destination grid. So maybe I want to share this with my first, you can tell my first and fourth have the same topic, so I might want to share it with my fourth class. So let's do that. And then what would you like? You can decide to only do the topic or you can do featured responses. In this case, I would suggest only doing the topic. You may not want to like mix responses and that kind of thing. So I would say only the topic and then you just press duplicate topic and it'll automatically make the copy for you. So that is really handy and really nice that Flipgrid has done that for us. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like and subscribe. I do plan on creating a few more of these videos. Again, this mini series is going to be called Live to Online. If you have any questions, don't forget to leave them in the comments below. I would love to try to get back to you. And if you have some ideas or suggestions of other programs that you want to become familiar with or you want to know how I've used them in my classroom or if I've used them, feel free to add that in the comments as well. Okay, guys, that's all I've got for you today. See you on the internet.